I cried at the end of Click.
Of Click?
Yeah, it's sad.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you out right now.
Go for it.
You're so fucking weird, lame. I don't even know what the word is. I've never heard of you crying besides at the end of Ghostbusters and the end of Click. 2 movies that nobody else has ever cried to.
No, it's if you get as into the plot as I do, it's like you're in the movie and you're a part of it. These are your family members now.
Dude, that's one of his worst movies of all time.
You think so? I thought Click was a great movie.
No, Click's horrible.
Click's a good movie. I honestly only remember the part where he's flipping his belly fat up and down. You know, like it's a tongue. He calls it a belly tongue or something like that.
Of course, you little.
And then I start bawling.
Yeah, that's what. And then
it's so beautiful.
As soon as he flipped that tongue, man, and just let the waterworks go.
Well, Sam, looks like it's just me and you here in the studio today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fucking great, dude. That's
great.
It's Memorial Weekend for the people listening. It just got done. Hope your Memorial Weekend was great. I hope you're as hungover and feeling like shit as I am as I'm going to be on Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be rough. That's the game we signed up for. When I see these 3-day weekends, 4th of July, we're going to get a 4-day. I just know my next week is ruined.
Yeah.
And I'm okay
Zero
with
productivity.
I'm okay with it. I like that. I'm the type of person where, like, last weekend, I drank hard as fuck Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I was sitting there like, I'm never going to drink both days in the weekend again. I feel horrible. It ruined my Monday. Memorial, 4th of July, Labor Day weekend. All that goes out the window.
Yep. You always got to have a buffer. You always got to have a buffer in between. Well, Sam, before we started this, Sam and I were talking about how the game Slug Bug is completely gone. Like we were talking about. Now, does this have something to do with, you think, you just growing out of that kind of stuff as an adult?
No, not at all, because I always think that's just built in me to notice slug bugs. When I was a kid, that was a staple of my childhood. If I was in the back of the car, if my sister was next to me, if I had a buddy, it didn't matter.
You were always on
defense. If I saw a slug bug, I was slugging a motherfucker.
So, obviously the premise of the game, you see a Volkswagen Bug, you punch someone, you say Slug Bug, and that's it.
It's the most simple, fun game you've ever played.
And you were saying how the number of slug bugs that you see is basically non-existent now. Like, you haven't seen a slug bug in how long, do you think?
I always picked up on them when I would see them, but for the last week, and I've been driving in the cities all week, I did not see one, not even one, and I was looking hard. If I had to actually guess the last time I saw one, it's been a few years. It's been a long time.
That's actually crazy. I was telling you, I just drove one like a month ago.
Which is completely unbelievable.
My grandma and grandpa have one. And I feel like I see them quite a bit. But here's one thing. Here's my hypothesis on why the game is on the decline. I looked it up. The last year that they were made was 2019. So the newest Volkswagen Beetles that you see on the road right now are 4 years old. The newest ones.
They made those ugly fucking things until 2019.
I guess. So until 2019, they were making this thing. And I don't remember when they started, but obviously they've been around forever, since the 50s, right? So I think part of the decline is that in cars specifically, we've just the mass population has been conditioned to just constantly be buying new cars every 2 to 5 years. So I think we're right in the middle of that cycle where you still see some of them because they are still out there, but they haven't made them since 2019, and all people want is new, buy.
No, I think people finally realized they were the ugliest, stupid-looking vehicles you could ever buy. I don't know if that was maybe a trend in the early 2000s when you were a kid. I don't know if people what people were thinking at the time. I've never personally known anyone that has driven one of them. It was the worst car ever. If you drove one, I looked down on you.
Really?
I did.
You thought of it like you're a lower class of society than
Not lower class, but you had something mentally wrong with you. If that's the car you chose to drive. And I've been thinking that since I was probably 9 years old.
Seriously? You're that is so ugly. I don't know who would even pick that.
That is the worst car. That and the fucking Kia Cube.
Yeah, the Kia Soul, the rolling toaster.
Except for when them little cute hamsters jumped out of them.
Yeah.
Best commercial I've ever seen.
The Scion. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But that's a different class of vehicle altogether because they tried to be like this cool new weird design to it.
Yeah, well, they fucking failed.
Well, the Beetle, I think it's tried and true. The design has roughly been the same since they first started making them. So you got to give them a little bit of credit. But I think also part of this whole thing is like, how many Beetles did they lose during the emissions thing? When all them Volkswagens got recalled.
I think it was just a good excuse for people to get rid of their hunks of shit. I'm serious, dude. They are the worst cars ever. That's why I noticed that.
Give me 2 reasons why you think they're the worst, other than the way they look.
I don't even have to give you 2 reasons. That is the one reason right there. They're the ugliest car known to man. And if you drive one, now, I mean, I don't mean to pull a bag out of Mitch's fucking book here. I said that wrong, but like, if you're a guy and you drive a Beetle,
yeah,
you need to turn your man card in immediately.
Really?
You don't even deserve to be called a man. Ugly as fuck. If you're a girl and you drive a Beetle, you're probably bipolar, have insane mental issues. Like, there's something wrong with you. I'm serious.
Dude, you're going... Okay, all right. Well, hear me out.
Hey, shout out to all the little honeys that drive one.
But I was just telling you I drove one. My grandma owns one. So you're going to put my grandma on like that?
See, she's just one of those few little honey examples that I...
So, yeah, I guess. I kind of think that way about Chevy Impalas, to be honest with you.
Let me learn you a little something, boy. The Chevy Impala is the best vehicle ever made.
Just so happens to be the car that you drive, right?
I've had 3 of them.
3?
The first one I had lasted 9 days. Crashed it.
This was the one you flipped?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second one I had for a year. Every single panel on it had some dent or scratch. I mean, the whole thing was fucked. It didn't even have a front bumper. Never kept me out of commission for more than a day. The one I have now, oh, that bitch fucking purrs, dude. That's the best car I've ever had. I'm probably never going to get rid of it. I'm going to drive it to 500K.
Were you rolling around with like a spare tire on it forever?
I did have a donut on it for a little bit. But hey, that's because some dipshit. All right, so shout out to the fucking idiot that dropped a huge metal pole in the middle of the road. I still can't believe this happened. My luck. Drive over it. Every single tire I have gets fucked. I have to get all new tires.
They all popped.
So one of them popped really bad.
Okay.
The other ones were fucked up. I could get new tires on the rims because they weren't as bent. Actually, 2 of them were bent. One of them was livable for the time. One of them was completely fucked. And the other 2, the tires were fucked, but the rims were okay. So I had 2 tires that were good. I had 1 rim that could have blown at any moment and the donut on. And I ripped like that for a good month, 2 months.
You're not supposed to like take it over like 50 miles an hour, right?
Oh, I didn't see the freeway for a long while.
Oh, okay.
I just avoided the freeway.
I was thinking you were just like, screw it, I'm doing it.
There were a few times, though, where I would be just high as fuck, and I'd look down, and I'd be going 70 on the donut on a dirt road. Shit. I got to get my shit together.
Every once in a while, and I feel like if we're talking vehicle classes, I think the Chevy Cavalier is like the classic example of you always see this little shitbox Chevy Cavalier cruising at 90 down the freeway with like a donut on the back, or maybe even 2 donuts. I've seen that before.
I've actually seen vehicles with 4 donuts on. Not even kidding. I swear to God.
Okay, how does that even happen? Are you just buying donuts like because they're cheaper and just putting them on all 4?
I think at that point that's what you got going on.
Because like if you're scavenging for 4 donuts that fit that car, that's a lot of work.
Oh, it's got to just you basically have to have just a junk pile of them, and then when all your tires are shot, you resort to them.
You just keep putting them on.
Well, I completely agree with you on the Chevy Cavalier, especially when you and I were growing up. I feel like it's weird to think back because I got my license in 2016. Obviously, in a small town where there's not a lot of money going around where we come from, people aren't getting 2014 15s and 16s on their 16th birthday.
Right.
So for me, a lot of kids were getting those early 2000s vehicles. Like my first whip after the Impala I crashed was a 2000 Chevy Blazer.
Dude, I loved the Chevy Blazer.
And I had lots of friends with Cavaliers, and we ripped them. Cavaliers are great vehicles. Chevy Cobalt, that's another one. A lot of friends had the Cobalts.
A lot of cobalts out there.
I've had so many memories in a Cavalier, man. Like that just brings me back.
Yeah, I think I might have been conceived in a Chevy Cavalier.
That's badass. Seriously. That's one of the biggest flex I've ever heard you say.
I think when it comes to vehicle classifications, what have you always thought of the big diesel truck guys? Okay. Got a lot of them here.
So here's the thing.
This might be a hot topic.
If you asked me this a couple weeks ago, I'd have been like, completely worthless. Buddy's never pulled a trailer in his whole life. He's wasting his money. His loud exhaust is annoying. I would go for the classic. Looks like he's compensating for something, you know? Yeah. Like, I thought that. Well, this year, for my job, I had to start taking our Duramax to go do some estimates, do whatever, run around, rip Menards. Brother, until you've driven a fast-ass truck with loud exhaust, you do not know how fucking addicting and awesome. There's nothing better than when you want to pass somebody, you can just and roll coal in their face. I'm serious. Go under a bridge, let her fucking roar. I'm addicted to it, and I've only driven the truck probably 10 times.
Damn, you should start chewing Copenhagen.
I'm more of a Grizz guy, but hey, I'll turn into a pussy and switch to Cope. If I really want to be a man, I'll hit the Kodiak.
So you're full on the diesel truck, jacked up, big tires gang right now.
I am now. I don't know if I'd buy one myself because I just don't. It's too expensive and I don't have anything big to pull. But I'll tell you what, I get the chance to rip a nice loud truck, I'm going to take it every time.
That's a good point. So hear me out. You get something fun. You get like, let's say you get a camper. You get a boat. Are you getting a big jacked up truck?
I think I would consider it. I mean, I gotta weigh out the options. You never know. I feel like I don't really look like a big truck guy.
Right.
I feel like I could pass as an F-150 guy. People be like, you make sense. But they see me hop out of a big ass diesel. They're like, fucking, would a daddy
really?
buy that for him?
What are you pulling, bud?
I don't know, man. What do you think? Would you?
I don't know. I go back and forth. As a kid, I always thought it was cool. Now, and it's weird. The older I get, the more stock I want my vehicles to look. Like, I want to blend in now. As a kid, I always wanted to stand out. I loved bright red vehicles. I had a bright red 370Z in college. And, like, I always wanted it to be fast and loud and cool. And now it's like, I do want something fast now. Like, don't get me wrong. And I want it to be comfortable. But the older I get, the more I just want my vehicles to blend in. Like, I don't really want everyone knowing where I'm at if I'm driving through town or whatever. You know what I mean? I just want it to look normal as hell.
Because that's one thing is I don't like being pulled over by any means. And I have buddies where their trucks are just cop magnets. I drive a silver Impala that has everything working on it. When I drive by, it could either be a 90-year-old grandma, it could be a 40-year-old dad, or it could be me. You never know.
Well, we have a lot of friends that have like loud, big trucks, right? And those are the guys that are always getting pulled over. Like all the time. All the time.
I have one ticket, and that's because I earned that ticket. I was driving way too fast trying to get somewhere late.
I have a lot of tickets.
How many tickets do you have?
I got, that first summer that I got that first summer I got that 370Z, bright red 370Z manual, loud, big spoiler on the back. I got like 7 speeding tickets that summer.
Dude, that's horrible. Like it
was bad.
My insurance for full coverage is like $100 a month. I think it's less than that. I think it's $70 a month.
Mine's not far off. It's only like $160. But now, when it comes to the speeding tickets, like I didn't care because I was living in North Dakota. I don't know if you know this, but have you heard the speeding tickets in North Dakota are dumb cheap? It's like $1 for every mile per hour you're over the speed limit, and then $5 per like 10 miles per hour or something like that.
Holy shit! I think it's like $10 a mile per hour in Minnesota.
I think it's more than that. You go 10 over on the freeway, it's a $275 ticket in Minnesota.
Dude, I got a 27 over in college freshman. 27 over. Anybody that's gone to Bemidji knows you have to take Highway 2. It's the most boring road you will ever drive in your whole life. Just a straight shot. It's like 70, except you're going for a full hour on there.
Yep.
I was going there late at night. I was just sick of driving, wanted to get back to the dorms. Yeah. Dude, and he told me, he's like, you're lucky it took me a while to turn my radar on. You were going way faster than I was, dude. He could have got me at 35 even. I was
Damn.
I was in a shitty ass truck too. I was going as fast as it could go.
Yeah, the fastest that I've ever gotten like caught going over, I think is 20. But I was in North Dakota. I think my ticket was only like $40. And I was like, oh, whatever.
That's just
I didn't learn anything
to me.
I didn't learn anything. And the insurance was cheap at the time because I had a good record until all these tickets hit. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this sucks that I got to pay it myself.
Dude, I've had a really, really weird week this week with just interacting with people. And so a couple weeks ago, I stated that I'm the Riz God, right?
Right. You did state that.
Yeah. So I was proved very wrong. That's not the case at all.
You were proved wrong just recently?
Just recently. So I'm just going to embarrass myself. I was just chilling. I was at the gas station. I saw this beautiful woman just walking by.
Employee or visitor?
Not employee. This was a civilian.
Okay.
And I was like, hi, like walking faster.
Hi.
Yeah, it was really, because
like
I was kind of nervous. Telling hi. Didn't even look at me. Didn't say hi back. Nothing. Head down. Like she got scared. She's like, got to get to my car. And that shit ruined me. And it made me realize,
hey, bitches.
You need a new bitchin' hat?
Head on over to the description of this video and click the link for twistedbitchcattlecompany.com. Use code ONTAP10 for 10% off your next order to get yourself one of these bitchin' hats.
Don't be a bitch. But as a man, you have to know your ugliness before you flirt with girls in public. And I'll be the first to say, hey man, I'm not that kind of guy that can just walk up to any girl and can be like, yo, what's up, baby? You're looking fine tonight. They're going to be like, where is the nearest police officer? I've got this fucking weirdo trying to hit on me, and he's creeping me the fuck out.
I don't know. I think it's almost in like how you say it, like how you present it and how you're packaging what you're saying. You can tell someone that they look good without saying you look good. That's what makes it creepy, is like your inflection and your how you're packaging what you're trying to say.
No, not at all. I completely disagree. I think that you're an old ass fucking man. You haven't been in the game in a long time, dude. Things have changed.
I've been off the market for a while.
They're more shallow. They have more access to men. They can get them. They can have guys hit them up from any DM on any platform.
Right.
There's more access there, dude. And I'm telling you, I couldn't just walk up to an attractive girl and be like, I just wanted to say it. I think you look really beautiful tonight. They'd be like, drink in the face. What the fuck are you?
I think if you said it just like that, I bet more often than not they would receive it really well.
I'd probably get laughed in my fucking
No,
face.
they would receive it really well, I feel like.
Yeah, if I was Brad fucking Pitt walking up.
The way you look right now, Sam, the beautiful young man that you are, I think that they would like it.
Well, I appreciate that, but I highly disagree.
Let's try it.
Should I just go out tonight, just walk around drunk as fuck? Yeah, you're hot.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't say it like that. That's what I'm saying.
You're fucking hot, girl. You want to come back to my house? Me and my roommate, we got a sweet crib.
That fucking bitch. I can't believe she turned me down.
Does she even know who I am, man? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, that's how a lot of guys would say it, and they'd be like, she's a huge bitch.
Yeah, I feel like just simping over her. Be like, yeah, I hate her anyways, honestly. I'm so glad that she didn't want to come home with me because I didn't even want her to come home. I just said it to be nice.
A couple of our friends probably would be like that, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, that chick was a huge bitch.
Just simp
like,
all
really,
night.
what did you say to her?
Simp all night, drive her to the party, and then she goes home with another guy. Like, thank God, didn't want to drive her home.
More room.
Dude, I had this friend in high school. He was as simpy as you could get. And this girl,
that's the worst.
She told him, she's like, if you drive me to this party, and this party was an hour away. She said, if you drive me to this party, I'll give you roadhead the entire way.
What?
I swear to God. She's like, I'll give you roadhead the entire way. So this is a first account story from him told to me. He says they're in the car.
This sounds so unrealistic.
Says they're in the car. They're starting to drive. He's kind of like looking over.
How awkward do you be like, hey, what do you think?
She's just playing on her phone.
Oh, my God.
He's looking over. He said, like, they were about 20 minutes out. And he's like, so I mean, remember what you told me? And
Oh my God.
she's like, are you serious? You really thought I was going to do that? And he's like, it's kind of why I'm driving you. He drives her there. She gets out of the car, doesn't talk to him for the rest of the night. So, hey, if a girl promises you head for a ride, probably just pass on it.
Also, what kind of character is this lady? An hour straight? That's
She's a girl that
crazy
knows
promise.
She's a girl that knows how to use her body to get what she wants. Is what it came down to.
Jesus.
Dude, I had another friend. I remember I was in the car, but like I had nothing to do with the situation.
Oh, yeah. I like how you slipped that in before you even say the story. You got to protect yourself here.
Okay, so we wanted our friend to come pick up this girl from a different town with us. And my buddy told him, she's like, dude, she said she'd give you head on the way back. This is what she told our friend to get in to ride with us.
So, okay, now the car is also full of other people.
Yep. It's 4 of us dudes. We're picking up one girl.
Wow.
And this guy that didn't want to come on the ride is promised head for coming on the ride. Literally.
Yeah, right, okay.
So we're all in the car. We pick up the girl. She's sitting in the middle. My buddy from the passenger seat looks back, and let's just say her name's Rosie. He turns around and he goes, hey, Rosie, you gonna suck my boy's dick?
Oh, my
And he's
God.
like, hey, I had nothing to do with this. I did not know this is how it was going to go down. Like, by no means are you expected to do this. And the girl's like, what? I thought we were just hanging out. And dude, weirdest
God.
situation ever.
Did she actually say this, or were they just telling the guy this?
She didn't say no. This is what he told him just to get him to ride with us.
Oh, my God.
And then my buddy, like, he had said no. This girl had no idea.
Dude, that's like borderline harassment. Imagine how awkward that would be.
Oh, it was awkward. It was very fucking awkward. I'm sitting back there like, you gonna do it? Not to me.
Oh, you're part of the problem here, Sam.
I was
You were playing
an
into
innocent bystander.
Dude, it's so awkward. We were talking about a couple weeks ago about our friend that was, trying to kiss that lady, and she was pulling away as he was trying to kiss her in this photo or whatever.
I remember that.
He reached out to me and he listened to it, and he did confirm that it was very awkward from an inside perspective, not just an outside perspective.
Well, that's cool that as a person he understood that was not a normal way to act.
Yeah.
I mean, that's growth.
Yeah, he's like, I heard it on the podcast. Yeah, that was a little weird.
It's respect. I respect the guy that can accept their weirdness.
You got to be able to recognize it. I mean, well, speaking of weirdness, there's a lot of fucking weird people, not just in this part of the United States, but, Sam, in another part of the United States. You think it's time?
I think it's time.
Florida Man of the Week!
All right, boys and girls, this week's Florida Man of the Week is 29-year-old Jordan Anderson. Jordan was actually found playing basketball completely naked at a public park. And when the cops asked him, why are your clothes off? He said it enhances his skills. Jordan was charged with indecent exposure of a sexual organ, a misdemeanor, and he was transported to the local jail with a bond of $500.
Indecent exposure of a sexual organ, I didn't realize was a separate charge than just indecent exposure. I thought it was just indecent exposure. So this guy is out there free balling, but also balling.
Balling, dude. And, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what the fuck? This guy's crazy. I respect it, man. If Kobe was better naked, he would have done it naked.
Would he have, though? I don't know if he would have.
If he was better that way, he would have done anything for that edge. If this man thinks his skills are enhanced, balling naked, he was by himself.
I was going to say,
There
if he's by
wasn't
himself,
children
like,
around.
there's no stake here.
It was that night when they asked him to put your clothes on. He did it. No questions asked. The man just truly balls.
So why did
with
he
this
get arrested
balls.
then?
Because he was fucking naked in public, bro.
But they told him, put on your clothes.
He already blew it when he was naked from the start.
Damn it.
I don't think you can come back from that. I don't think it's like I killed someone, but then I said sorry. It's just,
I don't think this is the same category as killing someone. I think like, hey, man, put it away. Hey, put your gun back in the holster.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was still a public park.
Yeah, I suppose. Could you imagine someone hooping up at the elementary school?
Just completely butt ass
completely naked. Well, I mean, you know, if you think about it, he was definitely more aerodynamic. He was definitely more agile. You don't have the friction of your clothes holding you back. I think it's something maybe everyone should try.
I don't think it hurts. I mean, I would definitely recommend it if you have more of an enclosed driveway. If you live in the middle of town, I don't think this is your route. Maybe try it at a friend's house that has a less exposed place to live. But, I mean, hey, who am I to knock something I've never tried?
Have you ever gone skinny dipping?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've been fully skinny dipping. I don't think I have.
Like,
no.
not with a group of people not skinny dipping.
No, never.
That's a whole different experience. It'll humble you real quick. So if you're playing basketball naked, my suggestion is try it by yourself at first, because then, you know, it would make the game a lot harder for you. You wouldn't be able to experience the benefits of being agile and aerodynamic when you got your friends laughing at you. You know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean.
It's just a tidbit of advice.
Just to give you a little story here, just to show how insecure of a man I am. I was nervous about my wiener size when I went for my first ever physical.
Oh, okay.
I actually, before I thought that point was going to come where I had to drop him, I said I had to go to the bathroom. I tried to fluff it up a little bit.
No way.
Swear to God. I'm not even kidding.
No way.
Dude, I didn't want to pull my little 7th grade wiener out thinking I fucking wasn't hanging a hog. And honestly, I'm really glad that they didn't actually make you drop them at all, because that would have been way weirder if I just pulled out a fucking hard dick.
Dude, I don't know if this is true. I really don't. This was one of those high school stories that was going around. This guy that you know supposedly was getting a physical, got an erection, and the nurse grabbed it and hit the top of it.
Dude,
and that is apparently how it goes flaccid again.
I've heard that story.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's true or not. But you know, you got to figure they've got to have a way to be able to handle it so that it's not awkward. You know, I don't think
know,
they
man. I
necessarily
think
have
that's
to hurt
awkward.
it.
I think the best thing you could do at that point is her just do her feels that she has to do. The reason why they're even in your business.
Well, that's the thing. It's even more awkward when it's not a female doctor. Is it not? I've never had to do it. I've never had a physical that they make you do that.
Me neither, dude. I was at the start of the new wave. Like, I remember her telling me, like, so I'm going to tell you what you need to look for, but I'm not going to do it myself. We don't see any need in which.
Yeah, that makes so much more
sense. Good for them. I'm really glad that that's how they switched it up, because that's kind of fucked up, man.
Imagine how many weirdo doctors were like, yeah, sweet.
I think about that shit all the time, because as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, oh, wow, all these dipshits that I went to school with have jobs in the real world now. That's terrifying. I know a lot of nurses where they were a complete fucking dumbass when I was younger. Could barely pass high school classes. Like,
okay. Oh, like you're saying that nurses that you grew up with
are dumb as fuck.
Yep.
And now they're expected to take care of people. I know nurses. I also grew up with girls that are nurses now, or guys. You don't discriminate, that are fucking amazing, and I'm glad they're in that space. So I'm not saying they're all dumb as fuck, but I know some that are dumb as fuck.
But you're hinting at them that there are some out there that are dumb.
I'm not hinting, I'm straight up saying it, and it is fact. There are nurses that are hysterically dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I don't, my wife is a nurse.
Somebody graduated last in the class, like it.
That's a good point.
There's shitty doctors. There's good doctors.
So my wife was saying that 2020 when everything was like shut down, all the nurses from that era of time when they were in college, like learning a lot of their stuff, like they didn't have clinicals in person. It was all like virtual, they're like virtually learning how to give someone the Heimlich, virtually learning how to put someone's IV in, or they're doing it with like this rubber pad. And it's not a real person. So there's some nurses out there that have potentially never done this stuff on a real person yet.
Dude, and that's absolutely terrifying.
It's kind of crazy. Imagine, obviously normal situation's not a big deal. My brain goes right to okay, if there's an emergency if they're not well trained, they're just going to default to like natural instinct. Like we need you to know what you're doing in crazy situations.
How do you feel about the whole like student situation? You ever had a doctor's appointment where they were like, "Oh, I've got 3 students. You can mind if they just come and sit in?" Have you?
I've never had
that?
3. I've had 1, but I always say, yeah, I don't really care.
Oh hell no, dude!
You say no?
Nah, that shit makes me weird because I already don't want to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
And then just have this little snot-nosed kid fucking looking at me. Fuck that.
I feel like I divulge too much information when I'm in that clinic setting. Like I'll sit down and I don't think it makes it more weird that if there's a student there, but if there's another person, I almost divulge too much information. Where they'll be like, I'm like trying to help them, give them as much information so they can like diagnose me with something. Like, hey, this is what it is. I'll go in there for like just a normal cold and be like, all right, what are your symptoms? Be like, oh, well, I've been really constipated. I haven't pooped in like 2 weeks. I've just been eating this really shitty food. My mucus is green. My tongue seems to be really fat. I'll just start digging in my brain like, okay, what's wrong with me right now? And then they were like, all right.
Like last week I had a slight headache.
Well, yeah, maybe just take some ibuprofen and,
My
some
throat hurt
Dayquil.
for an hour.
Yeah. When this like, okay, yeah, you came in and you actually just had a sore throat, so I don't know why you're telling us about your constipation. So I don't really
Cody,
care.
That's not irrelevant to the situation at all.
No offense, but I just don't care, sir.
Dude, I'm one of those guys that I had to get off of Google. So completely cliche like situation, the guy that self-diagnoses themselves,
Yeah.
I am that guy.
I'm bad at that.
I kid you not, I've convinced myself I have a brain tumor. I've convinced myself I have testicular cancer. I've convinced myself I had leukemia because I had like a headache for a couple like
leukemia.
Crazy shit. All because I like had like 2 of the symptoms. I mean,
here's the problem. If you Google any of your symptoms, like everyone knows this. Everything is going to end up. You can go down a rabbit hole. You're going to end up on WebMD, and you got 6 months to live, basically. Like that's where all symptoms end up.
And that's the problem is I'm that motherfucker that will basically be dead before I go to the hospital. I will do anything I can to get out of the doctor. It's the worst place. Even the dentist. I do not like going to the dentist.
That's crazy.
I don't like going to the doctor.
I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it because most of the time it's like, all right, sweet. I get an excuse to not do anything for a day or two because I got to like heal,
I just think I'm too weak to find out that I have something horrible, and I'd rather just have it sneak up on me.
Right.
Like I've told myself for years that if I was diagnosed with something really bad, I don't think I'd have it in me to tough through it. I think I'd just throw in the towel.
What the fuck? That's fucked up.
It is fucked up, and it's very selfish. But I hate the doctor so much that the thought of having to like stay in the hospital and I'll just fucking smoke weed and hope that cures it, dude. Medicine, man,
I'm medicated. You're medicated. That's what a lot of those people say. They're medicated.
I'm medicated as fuck.
If you got told that you got a month left to live, what would you do? Like, what would be your first course of action?
Okay, so everybody always goes to I'm going to Vegas. I'm getting as many hookers as possible. I'm gonna do
Who's
a bunch
everyone?
Of cocaine.
I've never heard that.
So I will be doing that for the first couple of days. And then after that, I'm going to get my priorities straight. And then I'm going to just spend a little time with everybody, a little one-on-one. I'll probably, I don't have a lot of belongings, but I'll pass them around. I'll give my money out. I'll do something cool. Like maybe I'll get all my friends to go to the bar, use the rest of my money, like to take the tab. Everyone gets all fucked up.
Yep.
I think I'd just have fun with it. Like at that point, if you're told that you have a month to live, if you're just sitting there worried about it, then you're just wasting it. But also, I've heard a lot of times where people are like, I was told I had 2 months. It's been 8 years. So like,
yeah,
that's a tough one to
that is
trust.
A tough one.
You don't want to throw your whole life away. What if you spend all your money? And
well, that's what I was thinking is like my first plan of action would probably be that I would either like steal, I in my head, I'm thinking like, how can I get as much money for Taylor and Lincoln after I die as I can, Like, obviously, that's why we have life insurance, but I'm thinking in my head, like, how can I set these guys up even better? Because and this is how fucked up my head is. I probably need to go to therapy or something for it. I'm sitting there like looking at his crib, and I'm like, damn, if I die right now, he's fucked. He's fucked. Like it's a different
what a crazy thought.
It's a different like priority now. You know, I'm like, oh shit. Now I like got to be careful with what I'm doing. Like I can't just fuck up.
Is it weird having somebody now, like, you know, forget about significant others, forget about parents. Like, is it weird having somebody that you care way more about than yourself? Like to where you would dive in front of that bullet without even considering it for a second. Like pretty much anything you have to do to save this kid's life, like you're willing to do it. Like that's got to be a weird feeling.
It is really weird.
As of right now, there's not a single person in this world I'm jumping in front of a bullet for.
Well, that like what I was just saying, I'm thinking in my head like, oh my God, now like me taking care of myself is like one of the most important ways to take care of him. You know, like I can't die before the kid's,
true,
you know, not an adult. That would be terrible. I couldn't imagine. It's
crazy to think, you know, like I could die in 5 years and I don't even know it.
We could die in 5 minutes and not even know it.
This brings up
floor
a good
is going to
question.
collapse. This desk is heavy as fuck.
Would you rather know how you die or when you die?
That's a good question. I will always try to outsmart it, because someone says this is how you're going to die or this is when you're going to die. I would always try to be like, okay, well, obviously this time I'm just going to put myself in this, you know, bomb shelter. I'm going to lock myself in here and I'm going to make it not true. Or versely, you die by drowning. Okay, I'm just never going to be by water. You know, I don't know, things like that. I mean, obviously.
Weird ways to drown, man.
I know it.
Lincoln's in the tub, you just slip or something.
Oh my God, don't even say that.
Fuck.
You ever heard of people like drowning from drinking too much water or drinking too much milk?
I've heard that. I just figured it was complete bullshit.
No, that's a real thing. Your cells can actually get like too saturated, and you can breathe it in, even just a little bit into your lungs, just from breathing in as you're drinking. You can drown like that.
Jesus Christ, that's horrible, man.
So don't drown on that Golden Light
just
you got.
Smoke that weed, man. Dude, I think this is a good time to talk about what we've got coming up in the future here, starting next Saturday, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to be on the radio, man. That shit is crazy.
We're going to make it public.
I guess, do you want to kind of explain what we've got going on, where we're going to be, where the people can find us?
It's Wild Country 99. We're going to figure out if you can see it online. We'll put it on our story on Instagram, so make sure you're following us on Instagram to get a little update of that.
What's up? It's Sam and Kody here from On Tap. Check out our podcast. Here we go with Luke Bryan's newest single. Go into the song.
Fast Car. Dude. Let me hear. Is that your actual radio voice? Let me hear your real radio voice. If you were to come in, okay, Taylor Swift 22 just got done, and you got to introduce Luke Combs' Fast Car.
Okay, so
you got 10 seconds.
Okay, wait. Okay, tell me what. Okay, so Taylor Swift just got done.
Yep.
So it's tough. I depends on what. If I'm on country radio, right?
Yep.
You're gonna have
a little southern twang.
I've got to think of my voice a little bit, because you don't want to be like the news announcer, and you also, that's tough, man. I'd probably be like, you just listened to Taylor Swift. Next on is Luke Combs' newest single, Fast Car. Something just.
I like that. I always like it when they have that like deep tone to it. Obviously, we got a tour at the station. What was it, 2 weeks ago now? So that was not at all how they actually talk, but it's like, welcome back to Country 99.
Dude, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Like, you are now listening to Taylor Swift. Welcome back. It's just, there's like a certain tone to it that you hear like in the movies. And I think I'm going to try to embody that. I think it'd be funny to be like cliche. You know what I mean?
I think so that's where it gets tough, though, because these people might not know us, and that's their first. I don't really know how to play it. Like, this is a tough.
That's true.
All of a sudden they're gonna tune in and be like, "This isn't the fucking weirdo I just heard on the radio."
That's a good point. All right, well, let's get out of here, Sam. Let's have a couple beers. Let's start off Memorial Weekend here.
Hey, I do want to say one more thing. I'm gonna cheers you, but hey, for all of you golfers out there, we have not forgot about you. We are doing the golf tournament, the second annual On Tap tournament. We are looking at a mid to late August date.
Yep.
We're not 100% sure what the exact date is, but it is happening.
Yep.
It will not be 4th of July weekend.
We'll have it by next next episode. Tune in to next episode. At the end, we'll announce the date of the golf tournament.
Fuck yeah.
Sam, close us out, buddy.
All right, for all of you, I'm just bringing it back to Memorial Weekend. we had a great weekend. I hope everybody hit the sandbar. Maybe some of you guys got laid. Good for you. I'm happy for you. But hey, it's time to go back to work. Get shit done. Work hard. Be a blue collar man like me. And let's fucking kick some ass.
Yeehaw.